Sunday School teacher, I'm glad that you have joined us for our time of preparation. We're getting ready for Sunday, December 31st. Can you believe it that 2017 is almost over? They say that as you get older, time flies faster, and I believe that today. The title of this lesson, we're in the study of the book of Acts. We're looking at a lesson entitled Strengthened. We're going to be in Acts chapter 15 and Acts chapter 16. And there we're going to see that God strengthens His church through His faithful servants. So Acts chapter 15 and 16 is where we're going to be. Hopefully you've got your outline and your discussion questions and you're ready to get into this and study for this coming Sunday. Well, we know that Paul and Barnabas had a sharp disagreement over how to proceed in the next stage of their mission work. Barnabas wanted to give John Mark a second chance to serve on the missionary team. Paul strongly disagreed with taking John Mark. What was the conflict? It is not mentioned in great detail, so it was probably that John Mark was timid, maybe even a little afraid, maybe he had other issues he needed to, maybe there was a perfectly good excuse for him leaving the mission team, but he left, and that upset Paul. As they're getting ready to go on their next journey, Barnabas says, I want to take John Mark. Paul says, no. This study that we're looking at shows how these two Christ-honoring, gospel-proclaiming, Spirit-led believers worked through their disagreement in order to stay focused on the mission of taking the gospel to the world. So let's look at these verses, beginning in verse 36. And there we see the parting of ways, verses 36 through 39. After some time had passed, Paul said to Barnabas, let's go back and visit the brothers and the sisters in every town where we have preached the word of the Lord and see how they are doing. So what Paul wanted to do was go back to the churches and the communities where he had been. He wanted to do church consulting. He wanted to go back and help the churches that had been established. Barnabas wanted to take along John Mark, but Paul insisted that they should not take along this man who had deserted them in Pamphylia and had not gone with them to the work. They had such a sharp disagreement that they parted company. Barnabas took Mark with him and sailed off to Cyprus. So we see the parting of the ways. About 2 months after the Jerusalem Council, Paul began to think about those that had been reached in their first missionary journey. That's what it says in verse 36. Barnabas agreed that, we need to go back. But he wanted to take John Mark. This was the same young man who had started off with them in the first missionary journey, but he had returned to his home when they failed to reach Perga. So, again, we don't know why he did not stay with them. But in Paul's opinion, it left them short-handed and was difficult for the team. So Paul said, we're not going to take him. And we got to remember that Barnabas